Eddie, how are you?
What's up, Ariel?
Not much. Doing great. You're not in Philly right now, even though you were in Atlantic City, correct?
Yeah. I'm on the road. On the
You're on the
road.
road. Okay, you're doing your
Still getting
thing.
workouts in though.
All right. Well, thank you for squeezing us in here. So you were in attendance. I know you saw it all, but there's so much going on, Eddie. First, like right off the bat, let's just get it out there. Do you have any news for us? Are you re-signed with the UFC? Do you have your next fight? Because you seem to be one of those big question marks at the top, the logjam that is the lightweight division.
No, I wish I did. I'm expecting a call any minute. You know what I mean? I'm trying to talk as much as I can. See if we can get a fight going here. So I'm waiting on a call from the UFC. See if they want to do something. So I'm here and I'm waiting and I'm training. So we'll see what they come up with.
Eddie, my understanding was that you were kind of preparing for Brooklyn because you had an inclination that something would happen to that main event, and you ended up being right. In the end, why didn't you get the fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov after Tony Ferguson pulled out?
I wasn't prepared. There was no way I could never make 55 on a 6-day notice. I feel like even if I was getting ready and I was getting ready for that, I would have had to start my weight cut already in that time. I usually, like, my cut starts about 10 days out. So I would have already had the foresight and the knowing that this is going to happen in order to be able to make that weight. I may not look it, and some people don't think, but I can get as high as 190 because of how much muscle I hold. I lose weight pretty quickly, but I can go up, and I hold a lot of water because of the amount of muscle I have. So when they called on Easter Day, I think it was about 190, 191 or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Kevin Lee.
there was no way.
We just had Kevin Lee on a few minutes ago, and he said he saw you in attendance, and he said that he thought, and these are his words, he said he thought you looked fat on Saturday. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Hell, he missed weight. That's crazy. That I'm getting. I got slack. I got slack for not being able to make weight on 6 days notice. You should be able to make weight on 3 months notice. You know what I mean? At the very least.
How difficult was it though to say no to the fight? Even though, or like, was it easy because it was just 6 days in advance? Did you actually even think about it for a second when they called you on that Easter Sunday?
No, what we did was we were discussing an alternative, like an alternative weight. The UFC basically asked me, what's the lowest I can get to? Like, what do I feel like the lowest I can get to is? And we came to an agreement that if we could be done at welterweight, there was two things that were discussed. Can it be done at welterweight at a catchweight? And then when they talked about no, it has to be for a title 55 mark. I just threw around the idea of looked up when Ramadan was, and I think it starts like in May. So I was trying to play with the idea of fighting right before Ramadan, so I can get to the 55-pound mark, and be what I felt was prepared for an opponent like that. So they were the two options, but I believe that they already had Max picked, and that I was just kind of a backup. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They kind of, the UFC, I think, shops around. So when something like this happens, like to have damage control, they call about 3 or 4 guys, but usually they have their guy picked. They have the fight picked, but they shop around so they can get the price down of each guy. Kind of like a battle for the job.
Dustin Poirier was on the show last week, and he said that he was offered you in Brooklyn, and he claims that you have turned down 5 fights against him since your first fight back in May of last year. Is that accurate?
No, I have no clue. I have no clue how many times he's been offered, or I've been offered Dustin. I believe I was offered Dustin the first time, and he was angry, but I was given the the Ultimate Fighter show, and I think that's where a lot of his bitterness comes from. I think he wanted to be on the Ultimate Fighter show, and they gave me the gig, and I got paid well for that, and I got a very good opponent. So I basically got a better opportunity than Dustin Poirier, and I took it. And if that's ducking, then I'm ducking, yes. But I always take more money and a better opponent over someone else any day of the week.
After the Gaethje fight in December, did they try to finally do the rematch between you two?
I think we never got a bout agreement. I think that we spoke about it, but the only thing that was spoke about after Justin Gaethje was re-signing with the UFC. I never got an opponent or a bout agreement. No. Like they never said, here's a bout agreement for an opponent. The only thing we spoke of is re-signing, and we haven't come to that agreement yet. So I'm guessing there's not going to be an opponent or a bout agreement in the mail unless I'm ready to re-sign. So when we come to agreement to re-sign, then I'm sure there'll be bout agreements in the mail. But right now there is no bout agreement. So the idea of ducking or not signing that's silly. It's just silly talk.
You have one fight left still, right?
I have one fight left, yeah.
Is there a chance that you guys can't come to terms and you end up fighting out your contract and testing free agency again? Are we trending in that direction?
I hope not. I hope we're not trending in that direction. I would not like to think that way, but I leave every option open. I always have throughout my whole career. So I'm willing to do whatever. I want to sit down with the UFC and just come to an agreement. I feel like the best guys are here, and I still have a couple guys in this division that I'd like to take out that I want in my resume. So I definitely have some unfinished business here.
Have you sat down with them yet in this process, or is there a meeting scheduled where you can actually sit down face to face and figure this thing out and you can move on with your career?
No, we don't have a meeting scheduled, but something I have to do. I'm not in a crazy hurry.
Okay.
Not in a crazy hurry. I would like to fight June. I would like to fight in June or July. I thought that after these fights, because a lot of the lightweight division just fought, almost all the top 5, top 10 guys just fought. So I'm assuming after all this madness is over now and everybody's fought each other, that I'll be receiving a call on who's next. So just waiting on that call.
You know who's one guy who didn't fight this month? And you're right. I mean, it's been a crazy month for the lightweight division, but there's one guy in the top 10 who hasn't fought this month. You know who that is, right?
Me.
Well, you. Of course you. I mean, other than you. Nathan Diaz, of course. Is that still possible? Is that still something? I still feel like that's possible.
I would like to think it's possible, but I felt like it was. I felt like, oh man, this can really happen, and that's when you heard me in the media about it. But I haven't talked much about it. I've just been answering questions as honest as I can to the media when they ask me about him. But I don't feel like that's possible. I feel like he would. Nate wants one guy. You know what I mean? He just wants Conor. And if you don't get Conor, I don't think he's going to fight again.
What did you make of the whole? I mean, you're obviously connected to Conor. You always will be. After you saw what happened in Brooklyn, what did you make of that?
I think it was convenient for him to do what he did. Like he would have been killing two birds at one stone. He would have been sticking up for a friend. That's one good thing, but he would also been promoting one of the biggest fights possibly in UFC history. So he's doing two things at once. which made complete sense. I think he went there with the intention, to build a fight and also stick up for his friend. But I think it went a lot further than what he wanted it to. I think he threw that thing, trying to be like, oh, I'm still crazy and I'm still street and I'm still whatever he wants to be perceived as. And then the window broke, and I think it went a lot further than what he wanted it to. I don't think he went there for that much to happen.
If the UFC came to you, Eddie, and said, Eddie, we like you a lot. We want to be in business with you. We're giving you these options, okay? We're giving you Khabib. We're giving you Conor. We're giving you Nate Diaz. We're giving you Dustin Poirier. Which one do you take? What do you want the most?
The one I want the most out of all of them is Khabib, and it has nothing to do with the title. I just think right now, timing wise, he's the most valuable of all them fighters. He's undefeated, so there's a mystique that he's unbeatable, which excites me even more. I just need to fight somebody that I get excited about, Errol. I've been fighting since I was 19 years old. So, just to say, oh, here's another fight and here's another guy and there's got to be something in it for me. I need to be able to get excited about the guy, like wake up early, go to bed late, and maybe, have a little fear of losing to him. I need to feel that in order to take a fight. I feel like he could be that guy.
I'm assuming you watched his fight against Al Iaquinta. What did you make of his latest offering, Khabib, that is?
I think he showed some vulnerability in the fight, especially against a last-minute competitor. But, what no one's talking about is Khabib talks about fake champion, fake belt, paper this and paper that, and everything's fake, fake, fake. No one said that they were just begging to give him that belt because he has Russia behind him. And Russia is now going to be an open market soon, and it's convenient that Khabib has the belt. No one's talking about that they were just offered 3 different guys a title shot, and on the third guy, they ended up with the 11th ranked guy, and this fight was for a belt. Ariel, do you think that should have been for a belt?
I think
they completely off air. Do you think that fight should have been for a world title?
The only
reason Tony Ferguson dropped out.
I'll tell you why I think it should have been, only because Conor had the belt for so long and didn't defend it. I think they needed to move on, and I think they needed to crown a new champion. I would like to think that if it was Khabib who got hurt, Ferguson would have fought, Mr. X, and they would have moved on as well. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it was just a strange situation where they really felt like they had to move on. That's my honest.
I disagree. I think if the Philadelphia Eagles show up to the Super Bowl and New England can't make it, then you don't bring the third place team in to play for the Lombardi Trophy. You have to wait. You have to be patient. Yeah. You can't tell number 3, 4, and 5, you guys now get a title shot. It just got silly real fast. Everything got silly real fast, and it was it made the belt quite meaningless. And now the guy who says fake champion, fake belt, fake this, he has a title now. They should have just handed it to him, to be honest with you. That's what it looked like.
So they did give him the title fight. He wins the belt, and it seems like there's 3 or 4 guys who all have a very strong case, and we have to kind of wait to see what happens with Conor, and then maybe the whole thing figures itself out. Would you hate me if I said maybe the fight that I want to see the most right now in the UFC is you versus Dustin 2? Would that bother you if I said that? Because honestly, I really want to see that fight again. Is that bad?
No, that wouldn't bother me at all. At this point, I just want the UFC to come with me with a fight. I kind of want to get my deal done with the UFC, and then I want to do what the UFC wants to do.
Okay.
The UFC says that's the next fight, then that's the next fight. I want to be in a fight that I'm excited about, and
Does that excite you?
My deal done. Partly.
What did you think of what he did to Justin? Because you just fought Justin, so common opponent there. What did you think of his performance? Did you watch it?
I feel like it went exactly the way I thought it would go, except he was able to gut it out. I didn't see him gutting it out. It looked like he was switching stance. He was doing a lot of things that I was doing because I know how hard Justin kicks. So I didn't see Dustin gutting it out. I thought Justin Gaethje would end up taking over and winning, but Dustin surprised a lot of people and stuck in there. So my hat's off to him. He fought well.
Okay, so at this point, you're saying the most important thing, let's just get this deal done. Let's not fight it out. You don't want to test the market. You want to be a UFC fighter. You just want something that's fair. Could you tell us if you guys are far? Like, I'm sure they threw something out when they offered you Khabib, because they're not going to put you in a title fight with one fight left. Are you super far away, or do you think that you are actually closer than most would think at this point?
They only offered me one deal, and then we never talked again. And the deal they offered was way off. We were off.
Wow. Okay.
We were way off. It was. I mean, I signed with the UFC 4 years ago, and it was almost the same number as I signed with 4 years ago. So,
oh wow.
It was. We were way far apart.
Not even a raise of any kind?
It was a raise, a very minute, very small raise. Small. Super small, especially considering the murder's row of opponents I've had, and that I was able to become champion and do what I did. To see that my stock only went up, as tiny as they would have put on the paper, it was just a little bit disheartening for me. So I didn't even counter. That's how it went.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how much you or how often you check your mentions on Twitter, Eddie, but I'm sure this is a common thing which drives me nuts when I look at what fighters get, like, oh, you're scared, you're ducking. Does that drive you nuts, considering who you have competed against in your career, that anyone would insinuate? I feel like you wouldn't, like, it's just like, to me, you lock yourself in a cage against the best in the world, and you've been doing it for what, like 10, 15 years now. Like, to even get that, for someone to write that to you, how do you even react to that? Does it make you want to smash your phone? Do you laugh it off? Do you not even see it? Because I see it.
No, yeah, I definitely see it. I learned in this sport to not take things too personal. Usually when people say bad things, or people are saying, it's either it's a 13-year-old on the other end of the Instagram or Twitter, so it's hard to get emotional about someone who don't really know what they're talking about, or B, they just have no clue, because they just released an article yesterday about my resume. I mean, just read it. Facts are facts. Champion after champion after champion after champion. I literally joined the UFC and I fought nothing but champions. Honestly, Dustin Poirier was the least. My on paper, I believe, was supposed to be the easiest opponent, and he's even tough. So I mean, it's like murderer after murderer I fought, and I've done it not just since the UFC. I've been doing it my whole career. So for anybody to say anything about that, that's just, I mean, facts are facts. You guys are, whoever said that is just don't know what they're talking about. And I'll compare my resume to anyone's. Can you think of any other lightweight who's fought the guys that I fought back? And even if they have, I'm saying back to back to back. Like, there isn't. There just isn't.
No, and champions in other organizations, and you're fighting. I mean, no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. It fires me up to read it. I can't imagine how it would make you feel. So I'm hoping that they figure things out. I hope you get paid what you're obviously owed and worth, and that we get to see you in there sooner rather than later, because like I said, it's super interesting at the top of that division, and you are certainly deserving of a big fight. I know you're busy today, Eddie, so thank you for squeezing us in, and great to catch up with you as always, and please keep us posted if you can.
Thank you. And guys, my fans, just tag at Alvarez Fight, tag Dana White, let Dana White know what you guys want next, and I'm sure I'll be getting a paper in the mail. So your voice and your tweet or your Instagram matters. So one by one, tweet the man, let him know what you guys want next, and more than likely that's what you're going to get.
Thank you, Eddie. All the best.
Thanks, brother.